Hey, this is Anney.
And Samantha.
And welcome to Stuff Mom Never Told You, a production of iHeartRadio's How Stuff Works. Today, we're talking about something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time.
Forever.
Yes,
and
forever.
Ever. And ever and ever and ever.
Mm-hmm. And that is the gendering of food. And this could be so many different episodes because today we're mostly focusing on toxic masculinity and meat.
Oh, how daintily you said that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That's how we should say it.
Is that how we say it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But we're not talking about brogurt.
Brogurt.
Which is one
by
of
the
my
way,
favorite
is still just mind-blowing every time you say it. I'm like,
didn't know
why?
what it was,
I didn't know what
listeners.
that was. And I was like, what is happening and why?
Well, that is a fair question that I don't have an answer to.
Bro, you want some Gert? That's how I hear it.
We can't buy any yogurt that is in a white container. It needs to be black.
Right, because a white obviously means girl.
Yeah.
Or feminine, right?
I suppose.
It's too nice. It's too clean.
Right. So those specific products, that's a different episode.
Right.
Today we're going to be broader. And this gendering of foods is a pretty big deal because it directly leads to health outcomes like increased risk of heart disease. And when it comes to animal industry, too much meat has negative impacts for our entire planet when it comes to global warming and sustainability. So, pretty big.
Huge.
Yep. It also relates back to something we've talked about before, the gendering of American political parties. Republicans are masculine meat eaters and Democrats are effeminate salad eaters or vegetarians or vegans. Remember all the push back against Michelle Obama's garden and her school lunch initiative?
Yep.
What is she doing? Or against AOC coming for your burgers? Or all the news around Cory Booker being a vegan. Heaven forbid. And these are actual quotes from Fox News about this. Lock your freezers, save your meat now. Are the Democrats really trying to take the White House on a platform of banning meat? He wants to impose his meat rationing on the rest of us. When you're eating a steak and you go, nom, 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 that is so delicious. What does Cory Booker counter that with?
Can you not do nom, nom, nom on any other foods?
Not according to Fox News. Only steak.
Only steak, which seems kind of impossible anyway, because you can't just gum it, which is what nom, nom, nom sounds like to me.
Yeah, true.
Too much?
No, not enough. For my own personal brief journey with gendered eating, when I was younger, I ate a lot. And I played outside a good bit, but I ate a lot. And I was a chubby kid. And me and my brothers used to compete at who could eat the most. But then a family member told me it wasn't ladylike behavior. Like I said in a recent episode, maybe you should shop in the maternity ward.
Mm-hmm.
They said you don't want to get made fun of because you're fat, right? So I became very concerned with people thinking I was fat, and I didn't like being seen eating in public, and I still have a real issue around it sometimes. I didn't like to fill my plate first in any situation. I would watch what other people did and get less.
Right.
And when I did eat in public, I tried to eat something like a healthy salad because in my mind, that was a feminine food that women eat to stay thin. And I had internalized all this misogyny, and then it reversed when I went to college because I would order the biggest burger or steak when I was out with people because I didn't want them to think I was like all the other girls. That'd be terrible. And all the while, when I was by myself, I was eating hardly anything to stay thin. And all of that gendered BS wasn't about what I wanted or what was best for me. And in doing this research, I realized that I've seen this play out in my family in other ways. My mom and I eat way more vegetables and white meat, whereas the men in my family eat way more red and processed meat and carbs.
Right. I think I've seen the same thing in my family, but in a different way, in which, because it was a family meal, no meal was complete without some kind of hearty meat.
Mm-hmm.
For myself and my mom, we could be happy with just eating vegetables or a vegetable plate, I guess.
Yeah.
But we couldn't just have that. No, I don't think it's just my mom, but just in general, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, because of the way I grew up, and my dad was the breadwinner, meat
Mm-hmm.
winner, whatever you want to call it, we had to have some type of meat, whether it was just a hamburger patty,
Mm-hmm.
like just a regular hamburger patty,
Right.
or something along those lines. And I remember if my mom was gone, which was very, very, very rare, and my dad was cooking, it was always a piece of steak. Like
Uh-huh.
all he had would be a piece of steak, and that's it.
Wow,
Not even a
really?
salad. I want to say it was like steak and then whatever else, like chips that he could find.
Oh my
That was the one
gosh.
thing he could actually cook. Oh no, he can grill too, but very manly
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And we'll come back to that a bit later. But the whole like grilling is the masculine way
Right.
of cooking.
Yes.
That's
the
men
one
do
with
the
men
grilling.
meat. Men meat.
All right, so first of all, transitions. All over the world, men have a lower life expectancy than women. And there are a lot of reasons for this. But one of the big ones for a lot of places is diet. In general, women have better eating habits than men. And the reason for that could be totally unhealthy for a decent chunk of women. And yeah, reminder, eating disorders and obsession about your weight, both are not healthy. But in general,
Right.
women have healthier eating habits. In the US and a boatload of other countries, researchers have found that we associate bold, spicy, flavorful foods with men and soft, sweet, and healthy foods with women. I have found that there's a kind of similar thing with men being able to handle their spice and women not so much. I've seen that play out. But okay, yeah, men, this is all like stereotypical, but men eat burgers and fries.
Right.
Women eat salad and fruit. Men eat pizza and beer. Women eat salad because all we eat is salad and yogurt and wine.
Yogurt. Just
And
like the
yogurt.
throwing in the yogurt.
It's true. Yeah, these are generalizations, but generalizations we see play out all the time in our media, in our lives that we might have internalized. I personally feel like I've seen a million times in movies or TV shows when a woman orders a burger around a bunch of dudes and they're so impressed with her.
Right.
Look at her eat that. She eats cheeseburgers too.
Right. She eats beef.
And
What?
she's thin. What?
She's the perfect woman.
And then you get like Nick Offerman's bacon-loving character on Parks and Rec being just the ultimate manly
Right.
man. The Seinfeld episode where Jerry orders just a salad on a date and both the waiter and his date are horrified.
Right.
Just a salad. The Homer Simpson quote, "You don't win friends with salad."
Right. And I know there's definitely a lot of sitcoms that says the phrase man meat or like and they really
Yeah.
mean steak, not just an innuendo of sorts.
Right.
But it literally like I'm gonna be a man. So as a man weekend, we're having steaks and burgers and blah 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 and beer.
Mhm.
Stuff like that. Nothing out of sorts.
Right. Nothing outside of the two food groups, meat and beer.
I mean, can I live that way too?
I wish. I wish I could live that way and not suffer very bad
Health consequences of
Yes.
death.
Something that's related to this, though, are commercials. And burger commercials, I find, are big offenders. Like way over-sexualized women sexily eating burgers. And that commercial, is not meant for women. It's meant for
Obviously.
men because real men eat burgers.
And all they want to see is a girl on a car half naked eating a burger.
Yes.
Correct? That's what I understand.
That's what these commercials are telling me. Ads marketed toward men use over-sexualized women to tie meat to sex all the time. One ad from Burger King had a skimpily clad model with a burger between her parted lips, and like she was lying on her stomach, so it was profile. And the caption read, "It'll blow your mind."
Ugh.
Yeah. Taco Bell's Men Love Bacon campaign, every Carl's Jr. ad that's ever been made.
Right.
The Burger King ad that featured X-Men's Mystique turning into a buff dude after eating a burger with the tagline, "Man up."
Oh, of course. And just the same with Carl's Jr. and Hardee's because they're one and the same, essentially. And Arby's. They use that overtly aggressive voiceover. Have you
Yeah.
noticed that? Where everything's like, duh. And it always like, you have to eat this. Boom. Kind of that Yeah, that was my impression of that because that's all I could think of was like, and then it's whatever the sound effects, the burger slams down like it weighs 2,000 tons.
Like it's a truck or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm always like, why?
Yeah.
Why is
It's
always
hearty.
that? It's hearty and delicious. And I'm like, but it's just fried air foods.
Fried aired food.
You know, that's what I think of fries.
Oh.
There's no real, it's delicious.
Still, yeah. What is it? What is Arby's? We have the meats.
Yeah.
See? Another study found people are more likely to spring for unhealthy food if it's wrapped in masculine packaging, and they're more likely to spring for healthier food with feminine packaging. Okay. And that same study found that the exact same blueberry muffins, one presented in masculine packaging, the other in feminine packaging, with the word healthy on both of them, respondents reported the one with the masculine packaging tasting better. Because I think they assume it must be unhealthier, even though it says healthy.
Right.
I don't know. People. People with stricter definitions or differentiations when it comes to gender are more likely to reflect that in their eating habits and choices. And one study found that even bringing up masculinity or femininity impacted people's food choices. When masculinity was invoked, people chose the less healthy option. The opposite was true for femininity. And I know we've all heard about the studies showing that male vegetarians are seen as less manly. Men are socialized to eat meat. One Twitter poll directed at men found that when asked what was keeping them from being vegan, 45% responded with social stigma and 39% answered masculinity. And we see that in the term soy boy.
I've never heard that term.
Oh, fortunate. It's never good. So it brings us to the question, why do we see meat as this manly thing? A survey across several languages looking into whether respondents thought a food word was more masculine or feminine, overwhelmingly, meat products were associated with men. Almost 95% of people labeled the hamburger as masculine. The same research found that meat eaters were seen as more masculine than non-meat eaters. And yes, men do eat more meat than women, and women make up a majority of vegetarians and vegans. And there are a few things at play here, some of which go way back. Dominance and power over another creature, eating your enemy, that whole idea. In 1984, French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu described men as, quote, the natural meat eaters. Meat, the nourishing food par excellence, strong and strong making, giving vigor, blood, and health, is the dish for the men who take a second helping, whereas women are satisfied with a small portion. Okay. A study from 2017 pointed to chemical signatures on 1,000-year-old bones to trace the rise of the patriarchy. Yep, because 10,000 years ago, as agriculture was on the rise, men and women ate the same stuff. Researchers know this from bone analyses, but when the Bronze Age rolled around, women were primarily eating wheat and barley, and men were on a steady diet of animal products. At the same time, women's bones were buried with less treasure, which researchers think is another indicator in decreased status when compared to men. In more recent history, before women were allowed to work and meat could be an expensive luxury for working class families, it was common for the men of the family to get the first and largest portion of meat since he needed the strength for working.
That kind of sounds like the same idea during like Thanksgiving. The man of the house is the one that cuts the meat.
Yeah.
That's always been a weird thing to me. I didn't understand why that was such a huge patriarchal thing that needed to be done and said.
Yeah, I didn't know in my family that is not how it is. My mom carves it.
There's no tradition for us when it's carved meat. It's just meat. Eat it.
I just always thought that was the idea of it made me angry. In theory, it's like one less thing for my mom to do, but on the other hand, she did everything else. So I don't see why it's like the man gets to present
the honor of.
Yeah, like this thing that you put all this work into. Yeah, I'll take it in and all. I don't know about that. In 1990, Carol J. Adams's book, The Sexual Politics of Meat, a feminist vegetarian critical theory debuted and got quite a lot of media attention. The cover was illustrative of one of the main points of the book. It depicts the back of a naked woman sectioned out by parts like we often see for meat, like ribs, chuck, round. The point being, both women and animals are marketed and consumed. From her site, The Sexual Politics of Meat argues that male dominance and animals' oppression are linked by the way that both women and animals function as absent referents in meat eating and dairy production, and that feminist theory logically contains a vegan critique, just as veganism covertly challenges patriarchal society. Patriarchy is a gender system that is implicit in human-animal relationships. An overlap of cultural images of sexual violence against women and fragmentation and dismemberment of nature and the body in Western culture exist. This cycle of objectification, fragmentation, and consumption links butchering with both the representation and reality of sexual violence in Western cultures that normalizes sexual consumption.
Yeah, actually, with that, when I was researching some of the things, one of the articles that I saw had this whole concept of masculinity and meat and animal protein to this extreme idea like this that included that married women are almost fearful of being vegetarians because of disapproval, rejection, or even violence from men.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you say it, I have seen like kind of a joking,
Right.
for me it used to be like, you don't smoke, do you?
Right.
But I've seen it with some of my, well, not really friends, but dudes in my life, like, you're not a vegetarian, are you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like a disqualifier.
Right.
And it is counted against you. And I could see that the extreme level of any kind of violent relationship, this could be one more excuse of you better have this as perfected,
Right.
or this is perfection.
Yeah. And I have been heartened to see because I have a lot of friends who are like, one of them is vegan and one of them isn't, or vegetarian, one of
Right.
them
That's
isn't.
hard.
I know
That's
it
a hard
is.
relationship. I definitely had moments where when I was first really into the dating world, and I was a vegetarian for a lot of reasons. And I remember the first date, the first thing the dude ordered was veal without even
Oh.
asking me he knew I was a vegetarian. We kind of already had this as a conversation. And he ordered that, and I kind of looked at him. And I didn't have too much. I just kind of paused, and he goes, "Oh, I only order things that I wouldn't cook for myself." And I kind of just stared there and thinking, obviously you have no cares about my opinion because you got one of the most politically incorrect meats.
Right. Right.
And ordered it on the round.
Yeah, and just like enjoying meals together can be difficult. My little brother, in my view, very randomly became a vegetarian, but it's because I don't see him very often. But it happened over Thanksgiving, and I
Right.
cooked the Thanksgiving, and it was like, oh, hey, I'm vegetarian. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And just like, yeah, you forget all the things like,
Yeah. Well, and you have to think about all the things that could be in there.
yeah,
So stock
exactly.
or
Yeah.
seasonings or what's touched what. I mean, that's really important.
It
And
is.
for those who are vegetarian or vegan, you want to be respectful to that.
Absolutely.
And so you're like, crap, what am I going to do?
Yes. And going back to the sexual politics of meat, a study did look into the premise that all oppression is linked. Here's specifically the oppression of animals and women. And it found people who identified as more pro-meat displayed a higher correlation with sexist attitudes, and people with a more pro-animal stance correlated with a greater desire to shake male-female dichotomies, like strict dichotomies. But the researchers were and are quick to point out that all the study shows is that these things are somehow related, and that it doesn't show that everyone who eats meat is sexist. Because, of course, that's like the headline.
Right.
Adams's site is also full of examples of this whole idea playing out during the Trump era, if you want to check it out, including a political pin called the KFC Hillary Special: 2 fat thighs, 2 small breasts, left wing. Ugh. And all kinds of ads actually do use terminology like this. You can grab our buns, touch our breast, things like that. When Anne D'Alessio Parson published a study finding a link between masculinity and meat eating, and that in Argentina, male vegetarians were more likely to be open to feminism, it similarly got a very big response. And when she was invited to speak on a talk show on Fox, the male host bought out a steak and ate it in front of her, kind of proving her point. Jeez. A recent study out of University of Southampton found that for the 3 groups of male participants, they all expressed a desire to eat less meat, but that it was difficult without, quote, social permission. And this study has gotten some criticism for its methodology, perhaps most notably from author Balin Lincoln, who cited the masculinity and meat consumption trope and the desire to make headlines. Another study linked class and meat consumption, finding that when given the option for either a beef or vegan beast burger, the highest demand for meat came from people who rated themselves at the lowest socioeconomically. And yet another study found that men who felt that their masculinity was threatened routinely added red meat to their meals. So there's a lot of studies looking into this. And I know recently there's been that study about, made headlines about veganism being linked to white privilege,
Oh,
which I could see.
right. And that's true. As we were talking about, me trying to be a vegetarian, it was really difficult. That was when I was getting out of college and changing, and I needed to change my lifestyle anyway. And this is a good way to go. And also, I had been reading some books, and it was horrifying. But one of the things is because I could not healthily do it. Part of that is because I could not afford all of the great ideas and doing it healthy. Because tofu was one of the things that I could easily afford, but at the same time, so much soy was causing a lot of disruption in my body, and stuff like that, as well as the fact that I wasn't properly getting all the greens that I needed. And vegetables, fresh vegetables, are expensive, and it's absurdly so. And because I'm with you, I actually did read a column not too long ago about how talking about being a vegetarian, talking about being organic is a classist idea, and stop it. Stop pushing this as this is normal, this is healthy, this is what we should be doing as a society. That's really nice. That's a really great concept. But we understand, yes, most people cannot afford this. And it wasn't until the last few years that even our system allowed for people to use the food assistance programs within this type of realm of farmers markets and areas that you could get healthy options. That wasn't, and try to stretch $1. If you can't afford it for a family of 5, that's almost impossible. So I've definitely seen that. I could see where they talk about, but definitely a classist.
Oh, for sure.
Idea, for sure.
Yeah. Another part of this conversation is the idea that in our society we pressure men to be more muscular, or that's a pretty big kind of pressure. And to build muscle, you need protein. And we're told that you need animal protein for that, which is not true. Harvard's Men's Health Watch found that, quote, red meat does contribute to chronic disease, and concluded it was reasonable to observe a few meat-free days a week. So there's a lot going on here.
Right.
Yes. And we have even more to discuss.
Ooh.
But first, we're going to pause for a quick break for a word from our sponsor. And we're back. Thank you, sponsor. All right, so let's talk about salads.
Salads?
Yes, I actually am really excited to talk about salads.
I'm really hungry right now.
Oh, no. There's all these chips and dips everywhere.
But no salad, nor a steak.
Look, I can't do everything.
That's true. You tried.
I did try. Okay, so if you type in women in Google's image search, one of the first things you'll get, if not the very first thing, is a woman, brunette, white, laughing alone while eating a salad, having the time of her life. It looks like she's having a wonderful time. And I enjoy my fair share of salads.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've also definitely ordered or made a sad salad to lose weight. I've done it. And I cannot think of a time I was ever that happy about my salad.
Wait. What's a sad salad?
Oh, a sad salad is like, you got the water... What's it called?
Iceberg?
Iceberg, and it's got the red around it, and it's all wilty.
Oh.
And it's just got no flavor.
That's so sad.
That's it.
That's it? Is that it, really?
Yeah, that's it. No dressing, nothing.
What, do you add carrots or cucumber?
No.
Or
sometimes I'll add cucumber.
That's
maybe
just like water
tomato.
and maybe a celery?
No.
Aww. Wait, what?
Celery.
Celery's delicious.
I do love celery, but
Oh,
not
okay.
my salad.
Not
My sad salad.
Have you ever seen the meme?
Which one?
Was it a GIF? Which is not in front of my salad.
No.
Go look it up. It's hilarious.
Okay.
That became a whole thing, like, in front of my salad? And essentially, I think it was from a gay porn or something. I don't know, because it begins with, when I looked at the whole thing, I just saw that one piece was in front of my salad. And then when you look at the whole thing, you're like, oh, hell.
Oh.
There's more. There's way more to this. Cool.
I remember back when Kristen and we did the video, Stuff Mom Never Told You video series. I didn't know anything about the Kardashians, and all I know is mostly from her.
Right.
And some from Bridget. But I didn't know that on their show, they just eat salad in silence sometimes.
There is a meme on that.
That's what?
I don't know. They did do that, and then afterwards was not in front of my salad.
Okay.
Or in front of my salad.
All right, well.
Go look that up.
I will.
In front of my salad?
I will say there is a picture of me that exists where I am like on a beach in my bathing suit and I have a salad and I look like I'm having a wonderful time. So I'm close, I guess.
Oh, I love a good salad.
Oh, I do too.
And they're stepping up their game.
Yes.
Restaurants are.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. And like we said at the top, yogurt is another big thing. You'll probably see a picture of a woman eating yogurt.
Yes, perfectly labeled, perfect spoonful of it.
Yes. And I've been in a video lampooning that is online. You can find it.
So many treasures.
Yes, they all are out there for your finding. If you Google men eating results, you'll get a lot of results around images of a burger or steak, eating a burger or steak. There is a Tumblr devoted to women eating salads and laughing, or are men doing it to showcase how weird it is. And I quite enjoy it.
So from now on, every time I eat a salad, I need to be laughing?
Yes.
I can't be crying in my salad?
And you can be, but that's a different...
That's a different meme?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can.
That's the sad salad?
It's one of the things. You're either the sad woman...
Sad salad.
Or the sad salad.
Or the happy salad.
There's no in between. And salad is frequently dismissed as rabbit food.
Right.
It's seen as a food of deprivation. Therefore... it's coded as feminine, since salads are seen as a health food, and as we've already said, healthy food is solidly in the for women category. Salads are for women.
Right.
When the salad first became popular in the early 20th century, they were much fancier and perhaps less healthy, like Jell-O salad, than we think of them today. But they were still feminine. It was a way for affluent housewives to show off all about the presentation.
Oh, kind of like the chicken salad, potato salad, all of those salads.
An article on Quartz comes with the title, Women, We Need to Throw Off the Sexist Shackles of the Salad. And it goes into how most salads marketed as the main course don't have enough nutrition, not enough proteins, not enough fats. They are a sad salad. Or there's a pretty sexist one I found on Cosmo. 14 things guys think about your salad. One of them is, great, the date is already over. Ordering a salad is like ordering water at the bar. That's not even a real meal. That's a garnish for another meal. My grandmother used to order salads. Did you just ask for no croutons? You're going to eat half my food, aren't you? I know you sneak cookies at night.
Okay, whether I have had a salad or not, or a giant meal, I'm probably still gonna sneak some cookies at night.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
That should be in every 14 things guys think about.
It doesn't matter
whatever.
what it is. Like, I just had a giant hamburger and shake. Let's go get some cookies. It may not be cookies. It may be donuts. We do have a 24-hour donut shop near me, so.
Yeah.
Donuts.
I might have recently ordered from them very, very late. Yep. I actually had never had donuts from there. I thought maybe they were a front.
Sublime?
Oh, no. I
Which
thought you were
donut?
talking about Happy Donuts.
No. No.
Oh, okay.
Sublime is delicious.
Sublime is
They
delicious.
are 24-hour.
Yes. They are. You're right. There's another article from The Cut called...
Hey, Sublime, can you send us some donuts?
Please.
Now that I've said that.
Please.
I'm so hungry. I want a donut.
Too bad. Another article from The Cut called Life is Too Short for Work Salad goes into how women eating in public is like declaring you care more about taste than appearance, going against a norm, heaven forbid. It goes into how men, for the most part, don't worry about what people will think when they reach for a second cupcake or a second glass of wine.
Man, I'm really bad at this whole woman thing then.
That's not necessarily terrible, especially these aspects of it.
Yes, I know.
Women are also under intense pressure to be skinny, which pushes them towards food like salads. But of course, studies have shown that women eat fewer calories when they are with men as opposed to being with women. And that when told an option was healthier, and that, didn't you know, healthy foods are associated with women, they largely stopped going for the healthy option.
Yeah.
So if they're told, oh, women do that, they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that then. Okay, cool.
Right.
And this all ripples out to restaurant menus. Salads are secondary, not enough. For a lot of restaurants, there are only a few salad options, and not a lot of thought went into those options. And when you think about the fact that still most chefs are male, well, a majority of them are male, and most menus are designed by men. Also in the US, people associate healthy with not as good tasting, which is not true for every country. I know in France it recently reversed. But this is funny because just because something is a salad doesn't make it healthy. It's just that we think it's healthy.
Man, those dressings, those add-ins.
It'll get you. There's nothing more upsetting than getting a sad salad and eating it half-heartedly and then finding out later that it was more calories than the thing you wanted.
That is really disappointing.
It is so upsetting. And I was in a movie that was semi-based on my life.
Wait. I need more details. Excuse me?
Somebody wrote a movie that's kind of based on my life.
Okay.
And I was in it, and I was playing me, but not me. It was very confusing for me. And there's a joke in that movie about how my character / me only eats kale salad for lunch, which was true for a long time. And I was like, oh, man.
You love some good kale. You've actually talked about how much you like kale.
Kale is in my top 5 favorite foods.
Which is really weird that I know this. Well, no, it's not. I know you.
We're friends.
Pretty well.
We're pretty well. And I'll tell anybody about my love of kale.
We had some kale, and you're like, oh, my God, I love kale. And I was like, oh, okay. There's Anney. Loves kale.
I do. And I did eat kale salad every day for a long time. And it's socially acceptable for women to eat salad in public.
Really?
Yeah.
I always think about the fact that there's always something left in my teeth.
In your teeth. Yes. Yes.
It's one of the most unsexy foods you could eat.
I know. And it's funny because that's like the date foods you think of, because over on my other podcast, Saber, we just did an episode on lobster, and that's also seen as a date food. And like, these are very dangerous, unsexy foods.
That's, to me, like trying to do corn on the cob is sexy.
That gave my heart palpitations.
Why? What's that reaction?
I don't want to delve into corn on the cob being sexy.
Okay. I've said too much.
You have. But yeah, I do have a lot of friends that experience that same concern. But at the same time, it's like, I'll just have a salad.
Right.
I won't get bloated or whatever it is.
Really? Maybe because I eat too many greens, because that makes me bloated.
I don't know. This is what I read. I've never really put conscious thought into it.
Sorry.
Maybe I will.
I recently have, mainly because I like to eat a lot of vegetables, but I've been really giving my kimchi back into my foods of everything. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of sodium. And cabbage in itself is like, woo!
Well, that's different than a salad. But anyway, okay. For me, I don't like eating in public. And because I feel like eating is something that I should not be doing. This is actually something we were working on in therapy. Like, I'm not thin enough, so salad is a way to be like, oh, see, I'm making effort. It draws as little attention to the fact that I'm eating as possible.
I do the same thing. I think if I'm eating fast food or something, I think people automatically assume, of course, she's eating fast food, because I'm not, very, very skinny. So I feel like everything's... Also, we already know there is judgment out there when we talked about what's normal and all of that. It's probably true for some people. They are being judged, so therefore they have to do the best to put on a show. Yeah,
which... Again, going back to, I remember learning that the salads you get at McDonald's are like just terrible for you.
Right.
But it's like a show.
Right.
That being said, I recently have had some amazing salads at restaurants. Like you said, I've had salads that were like the happiest of salads. So I don't want to...
The happiest of salads.
I do love salad. I don't want to rain on Salad's parade. It's just...
Don't be sad, salad. You're good to us.
Be happy salad, not sad salad. Okay. So I think we've talked enough about salad for now. We do have a little bit more for you. But first, we have one more quick break for a word from our sponsor. we're back. Thank you, sponsor. So what do we do about this whole gendered food unhealthy thing that we have going on?
Eat more meat. Just playing.
No, not that. The whole thing is often viewed as a massive exaggeration of the hunter-gatherer narrative, which is far more complex than what we typically boil it down to. I could go into it, but then we'd be here for hours, and no one wants that, probably. Maybe like 4 people want it, but...
I mean, we can just split it up.
Yes.
Like we do.
Yeah. We could do that. Thought for another day. Researchers suggest that we reframe how we view food, that we look at it as genderless. For instance, cooking isn't masculine or feminine, but it is a skill necessary for being independent. Ask yourself why you are making a food decision. And if it's because of beliefs around gender, you should challenge those beliefs.
Drink more beer, ladies. Drink more beer.
If you want to. If you want to. And it's healthy. Public figures challenging this notion is something else researchers posit helps. The fact that Samuel L. Jackson, for instance, is vegetarian, or the football player known as the 300-pound vegan.
Why does his weight have to come into it? So rude.
Because he's a big football player.
Oh, okay. So 300-pound vegan.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, and according to one article, we'll see how this goes, the UK Advertising Standards Authority has put in a new rule which bans adverts which feature gender stereotypes that can be considered harmful or sexist.
I am very interested to see.
Right. And now that happened this year in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that has played out.
There is just so much to unpack here. And until we stop associating femininity with weakness and everything coded as feminine, including eating habits and foods, will be seen as less than, something to be avoided. I really could just talk about this so much.
I know. You're very excited about this one.
I was.
Don't get me wrong. I'm very hungry now. I'm going to have to go find a meat salad somewhere.
Yeah, combine them two. Get a steak
I'm just going to do a gender neutral all the things and then combine the both.
A gender neutral salad, please. We would love to hear from you listeners. And in the next episode, we're going to be talking about the gendering of drinks. If anybody wants to preemptively write in about that.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for that one.
Yeah. You can email us at stuffmediamomstuff@iheartmedia.com. You can find us on Twitter at momstuffpodcast and on Instagram at stuffmomnevertoldyou. Thanks as always to our super producer, Andrew Howard.
Andrew.
And thanks to you for listening. Stuff Mom Never Told You is a production of iHeartRadio's How Stuff Works. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.